Squirrels! So hello, and welcome to another Legends of Runeterra video. My name is Chris, and today we will be playing some Easy Burn. What is Easy Burn? Well, as you can probably tell, it's a burn deck featuring Ezreal, thus Easy Burn. Pretty simple, right? But it's not like most Ezreal decks you may have seen. Most Ezreal decks obviously play Ezreal with the intention of leveling him up and winning once he is leveled up with a bunch of small spells. We are quite the opposite. We're quite happy to play Ezreal unleveled up and play him in a way that means that we can get extra damage when he creates a mystic shot. So the deck is basically built around burn first, and that is why we are combining him with Jinx. Now Jinx is a champion that has seen a bit of a decline in play, I would say. But if you can get Jinx to stay on the board for a couple turns, forget about it, because if you can get a couple mega death rockets off, if you can attack with a 5/4 quick attack, if you can draw 2 cards a turn, you will win the game very quick. And essentially this deck is a sort of flexible deck, right? Depending on the matchup, depending on the game state and your hand state, you can choose, am I going to win by burning their face, or am I going to win by leveling up Ezreal and then using a bunch of spells to go face after that? So you can win in multiple ways, and it's kind of a flexible deck that allows you to do that. So let's run through the cards. Well, we are of course wanting to be targeting things or potentially going face, and that's kind of what everything is built around. So we've got Thermogenic Beam, obviously a good card for removal, and kind of a sort of staple of P&Z decks in general. Blade's Edge is a 1-mana thing that can either go face or kill a unit potentially, so it fits quite well. Rummage is obviously a card that fits very well with Jinx, allowing you to discard anything that you potentially don't need in certain matchups, which can happen with some of these cards, or you could be looking to just get rid of your hand for Jinx. Boom Rookie is obviously a great burn tool and allows you to deal 2 to the face no matter what anytime you attack. It's one of the best 2-drops in the game, if not the best, and fits this deck very well. House Spider is a good defensive tool or offensive tool. It's very flexible in its design. By giving you multiple bodies, if you want to, you can just go face, or you can use it as a defensive tool. Grenadier is sort of similar actually. With that high 3 attack, he can act in a similar way where he can be used offensively if there's an open board, for instance, but obviously gives you a good blocker that's also going face damage as well. Mystic Shot is just a staple. I don't really need to explain Mystic Shot and why that fits into the deck. It's a 2-mana spell that deals 2. It can target a unit. It can go face. It's good. Sentry gives you an extra target as well and could be a good defensive tool for stalling out the game. Fits well with Ezreal. Culling Strike as well, similarly, just a one-off. This isn't that powerful of a card. You probably could cut it for something else if you wanted to, but in certain matchups, you know, against stuff like Heimerdinger, it can come in pretty big. Ezreal himself, we've talked about. Get Excited fits obviously again with Ezreal, with Jinx. Just fits the deck. It's a 3-off. Cast Salesman adds to the burn factor of the deck. Obviously the 2 little casks he summons will be dealing damage and is a very good blocking tool. Unless they have Fearsome or Elusive or something like that. Chumpwump is a big boy that gives you 2 extra Mushroom Clouds. He often is paired with Ezreal as he gives you those 2 extra cards, but also if we are just going face, we can just use the mushrooms themselves. They are cheap spells, so again they're pretty easy to get rid of our hand if we have Jinx on the board. But they can be used just to try and get extra damage in if we are looking to close out the game. Jinx herself, obviously, and what's great about these 2 obviously is that extra copies of them give you a Mystic Shot and a Get Excited, so they fit very well in terms of the theme there. Static Shock gives you, again, potential face damage. It'll draw you a card, and it could just get 2 unit targets as well, so it fits very well. And Experimenter, of course, goes very well with Jinx. It will target a unit with its 3 damage and draw you 3 cards after discarding your hand, so it can be a very, very good tool there for getting more cards. So that is the deck. I think it's very fun. It's not the easiest deck to play because you are going to have to make a choice of how you're going to win the game, which is often quite difficult and can be, you know, a bit of a 50-50 at times. But with that said, let's get into some games. So in we go, and it's Heimer Ezreal. Ooh, spicy from Moosey here. Heimer Ezreal. Okay. Well, he's likely to have some amount of lifesteal, but I think we do want to be getting somewhat more aggressive than this. Heimer Ezreal. Don't really know what to think of that, to be honest. It's a bit of an interesting one. The Grenadier here isn't great, so I'm actually going to wait because it gives him such an easy Val Feast. So I'd rather play Ezreal. Because if this forces a grasp early on, then that's fine. And if not, he can't block it, and we get a free Mystic Shot. Now if he passes here wanting me, I will happily end the round there. Him burning mana there, burning an extra 3 mana is quite, it could be quite big. Okay, still not playing anything. So maybe he did just have nothing in the burn. Wasn't really worth it. Okay, so he did have grasp anyway, he just didn't want to play it. Makes sense. But I think... Oh. Yeah, Val Feast. Pretty obvious Val Feast. This Mystic Shot will hopefully get in 4 though. Essentially, that's the way you've got to look at it. This Mystic Shot is hopefully getting in 4. He's on 5, so we always want to wait. Or he could have his own Mystic Shot. Okay. It means no Heimer, and that definitely means no Heimer, you would have thought, as he plays the Flash Brilliance. We do have the Legion Grenadier here. Just sit and wait. Thing is, if he's playing Ledros, which I have absolutely no idea if he is or not, then obviously that could be potentially pretty bad for us. We can play the Cast Salesman here and wait for him to try and attack. We can drop one of those, knowing we have the backup one as well. Kill his Ezreal. Pretty happy to pass. And we're pretty happy to open attack here as well. So we see another get excited. Goes for another flash. Interesting. So that's 2 gone already. Into a progress day. So he's going to be losing 6 here. Plus the 3 that we do from one of those. Okay, and then a Mystic Shot. Ezreal is up to 4. The fact that this doesn't have targets I still think is fine. I'd rather draw the 3 cards, I think, at this point.
The answer is here somewhere. Immerse yourself.
Getting 3 extra cards is very valuable. He obviously does have a lot of cards. This is why Jinx can be particularly good. But Culling Strike could come in pretty big in this match. And another Experimenter is also very nice. That's kind of fine. I think again we'll just play passively, get the target. Okay, he goes for a Withering Wail. Okay. It's an interesting choice. Not one I personally would have made, but it's, you know, it is what it is. So he's going to attack. Oh, as my phone goes off. He's going to attack. I think I'll take it, to be honest. Play you. We could have rummaged there. This Culling Strike could be really good. I'm kind of happy to go in on the open again here. As I say, something like a Ledros or even a Karina could be pretty big for him here. Goes for that. That's fine. He's gonna go for Chump Wump. I'm going to go for a Mystic Shot. Okay, he plays a free Rummage. And I think right now we'll go for the Experimenter. I think again that's a pretty solid play. Do discard those 2 cards, of course, but we kill his Chump Wump as well. Get the 3rd Experimenter. I don't want to give him a Vile Feast here, really. Could be on something like Heimerdinger now, just to get excited on that. So his Ezreal is getting, you know, higher and higher. But we can drop a Chump Wump now. Okay, there is an Ezreal. So he's on 6, right? And on 6, he could have Static Shock. I would put it at very likely he has Static Shock. Can level up the Ezreal and kill one of ours. So I'd probably rather that didn't happen. I'll just play the Mushroom. This means it'll pass it back to him. So it's essentially a way, if he wants to use this Mystic Shot, as he does, that he won't get it on our Grenadier. And that could be important. I'll do it again though. See what he wants to do, because he could Vile Feast this now as well. Or Thermo Beam, okay. So Thermo Beam is fine. It's not fine because obviously it does level up his Ezreal, which could be problematic. But we'll play the Grenadier. Probably add even more mushrooms, as we kind of need to obviously be closing this game out as quick as we can. As he does have a leveled up Ezreal. So we will go for the open attack. And he's got Withering Wail, wow. Big play from him.
I got the goods.
Now we are going to try and kill the Ezreal. Here with Static Shock into the Experimenter. As our Ezreal gets close to leveling as well.
The answer is yes.
Just have to hope here, really. Okay, deal with his Ezreal. So that's positive. Another Static Shock that can be used on this. That's good. Jinx. Jinx is what we want to see. Because if a Jinx can survive, then we are in pretty good shape. That's fine. He's looking for an open attack. And that shows us that these are all slow speed spells. We do have a bunch of mushrooms in his deck now, of course, as well. So we can afford to just Static Shock here. So we get the Static Shock off. We get a Blade's Edge. We will play Jinx. Plays a Heimerdinger into Thermo Beam. That was a 5-mana Thermo Beam, so there's not much we can do about that. Could really use with something like Ezreal coming out about now. Instead we get Boom Crew Rookie. Which could also be pretty good, to be fair. A big Vengeance though, very big Vengeance. But it's not on Jinx. And that could be crucial as well. So now he doesn't have an answer for Jinx. Timer will level up, unfortunately. And we can just drop the Blade's Edge, rummage for 1, level up the Jinx. Hope to survive this hit. Jinx, if she can survive. Oh, the Grenadier, very nice draw. Will allow us to block something. Obviously we can't attack into the barrier. So we get a Chump Wump, we just need the Jinx to survive. Not really what we want, Chump Wump into Boom Crew. Oh, he gets a nasty progress day. But that is going to draw him some mushrooms. How many did that hit him for? One each time? Okay. We can drop a chump one. Oh, he's got flash as well, but that's only going to give him the 2 mana one. But it does give him extra spell mana, of course. Into an unlicensed contraption. So we need to find a way to survive this hit. Do have the rookie. But now if we do this, we should still have priority, right? And be able to kill some of those. We can. And all we have to do is survive this hit. So we can kill 2 units here. And all we have to do is, and with the Grenadier, we should win. We should be able to win this game. I can't think of many ways out for him. Right now, he can't attack. He can't let me attack. With whatever he attacks first, I'm just gonna block with the Grenadier, of course. And he should win. Yes. Ooh, that one was an interesting game. A big back and forth. We looked pretty much on the ropes, but the thing with this deck, and what I would say is important, is Jinx is very important. She is just an engine that just gives you things. And against certain cards like Heimerdinger, she is very, very, very big when you get that rocket. You saw the power of that rocket there. And yeah, that's kind of the whole point. You know, whenever someone gets really, really low, their options sort of are more and more limited as they have to stop you. And that's kind of the point of this deck. Is essentially to just limit their options. And if they're putting too much pressure on you where your options are being limited perhaps, that's when you just go in for the full Ezreal kill. You just sort of play for Ezreal. You target as many units as you can. That one was a fun game because we both managed to level up Ezreal. We got a bit lucky that he didn't draw his. But obviously we didn't draw ours either, so... really fun game, and that is going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to, and yeah, I've been Chris. Have a nice day.